here we go. You better get ready for this ride because it is going to be Trump. I don't see anybody torpedoing this guy at all. I don't. And I think what the mainstream media has missed, all of us as Americans have missed, whether we've misjudged or we just couldn't see the forest because of the trees, but Donald Trump has a rare, innate ability to connect with people. He does. Right now, if Trump were to be on the ticket and the election were today, the problem and the challenge for Democrats right now is that this guy is talking to working folk. This guy is talking to that union member that has always voted Republican, and the union head can't figure out why the hell they do that. Why people vote against their own best interests. Trump can get on the back of a garbage truck and fit right in. He speaks the language. Trump can put on a flannel shirt, put on a leather vest, and walk into a bar on the corner of a small town in Wisconsin and say he's a Viking fan and he'll get out alive. He has unusual skills to be able to read people. I don't know if it comes from The Apprentice, but I think I do know where it comes from. And that's the fact he's a high finance guy who's taken losses and taken wins and taken chances, and nothing phases him. So if he gets in a jam, he has confidence enough that he's going to be able to get out of it. And he embraces low information voters. I have never heard a candidate run for president say, I love low information voters. You know what he's doing? He's telling those folks, don't be insecure. I'm your guy. That's okay. We're not all going to be billionaires, but I do want you to be just like me. I want you to have a great life. We're going to make America great again. I mean, this is, it's almost amazing what's unfolding. It's not policy. It's not. It's not programs. It's not. It's those people out there that feel disenfranchised from Washington. He's an outsider. They can't buy him. He's funding his own campaign. He has the record for more Twitter fights than any other nationally elected hopeful in the history of the country. He pisses people off, then he comes back and makes up with them. He goes after people. He doesn't care who they are, where they are. He clears the beach. This is the attraction. It is. I'm totally convinced of it. I think the guy has got an innate ability to go into a room, capture the mood of the room, communicate with the room, and walk out and have most of them in the room think, he ain't a bad guy. Now, I think all of us struggling in the economy in this country who have at one time or another have to know that, you know what, if you roll the dice and you come up snake eyes and you're still in business and you've taken a chance, those people in business in this country know exactly what that is. I think small business people in this country, when they hear Trump talk about, I'm going to do this for small business and I'm going to get regulations off your back, there's a lot of people that go to bed at night, head of small companies, wondering how the hell they're going to make payroll in the next 10 days. And they hope these checks come in. They associate with the guy. Now, for the Democrats are going to have to find something to associate themselves with that will reel these undershirt, rolled up sleeve kind of workers in America who can make a difference. It is a fact that Barack Obama would not have won in 2008 or 2012 had it not been for the unions. It is a fact that Donald Trump has been a little rough on unions, although he speaks a different game. The unions in this country right now are positioned in a very unique place. They're going to be able to demand something. The Democrats are going to be able to deliver something that Trump never will, and that's the Employee Free Choice Act. I think the Democrats need to get back to working man issues and to some guarantees in the workplace that Trump will never provide. The Democrats are going to have to reel these folks back in somewhere. Why is it that possibly half the steel workers in America would vote for Trump? Why is that? Why is it that pipe fitters feel that way? Why is it that bricklayers feel that way? Why is it that construction guys feel that way? What is it about this guy who can get on the back of a garbage truck, speak the language, and make those folks feel pretty good about him, and they're going to end up voting against their own best interests? That's what this election is about. It's as personal as it's ever been. And the folks I'm talking about are the folks that are going to need health care, that have to realize that if they repeal Obamacare, there's going to be millions of Americans who are going to be affected. And I don't care what Trump says, no politician, no elected official, no president is going to be able to hold down costs. You might be able to change the system, but the costs are always going to be going up. And so I think single payer clearly is the only way. I don't want to get off tangent here, but the point is the Democrats are going to have to find something to hook these hardworking folk back into the fray, and so they're not enamored with the personality and the suave and the innate ability that Trump has brought onto the national scene. He's won in the Northeast, he's won in the South, he's won in the West, and I think he's going to win a lot of other places. What about Florida? And this is curious to me. Marco Rubio has got to be thinking, if I can just get to Florida. Well, guess what? You got to go through Super Tuesday first. Rubio's going to have to start winning somewhere. And if he does get to Florida, I maintain the fact, I don't have any statistical data with me or any survey right now, but Trump has to be playing well in Florida. He has to be playing well in the Panhandle. He has to play well in Central Florida. And the fact that he got some Latino voters in Nevada last night shows who knows what the hell these people are thinking. Let's go to Mitch Ceasar. He is the chairman of the Broward County Democratic Party, former Florida Democratic Party chairman. Mitch, good to have you with us.
Good to be with you, Ed.
I want you to respond to my position here that the Democrats are going to have to reel in a voting bloc that it looks like Trump has tapped into. What do you think?
Well, you're right. I definitely think that Trump is the nominee. I wouldn't have said that a month ago, certainly not 2 months ago. And when you look at two key battleground states, Florida, for instance, Trump is still up by 7 points over Rubio. And remember, Florida's a winner-take-all, so usually they would just chop it up and he'd come out with a net, maybe 10, 15 delegate seats. But it's 99 winner-take-all. That's a gigantic piece. So that would more or less, I believe, end Rubio if Trump won Florida, as he's leading now. And when you go to the next state where Kasich is, Ohio, Trump's up 5 in Ohio. So these two quasi-establishment folks are definitely losing. And these polls were done before yesterday, before the big win in Nevada, which I think he got, 46%, all by himself. Now he's, they thought he capped him off creeping in the 20s and the 30s. Now he's in the mid to high 40s. He keeps going as the field is narrowing, which is exactly opposite of what they thought the case would be. I would say to you that if Trump wins Florida, that night, the campaign is over, and it's certainly over for Rubio.
This just is not a thinking man's race. The way Trump is breaking it down. I mean, the guy can swear like a sailor and get away with it, no big deal. In fact, people think, oh, that's cool.
Well, my information tells me that Rubio and Bush have spoken yesterday, and that they're going to set a play date for each other politically to sit down and try to get Bush to more or less back his former protege who kind of turned on him. What's interesting is in Florida, 360,000 absentee ballots have already been cast. About 190,000 of them are Republican. And that's with Jeb Bush still on the ballot.
How many Republican?
What's that?
How many? You said 360,000 absentee?
360,000 general ballots, meaning everybody, but of that, 190, give or take, 190,000 is Republican, which still has Bush and a lot of other folks on it. That works directly to Trump's advantage because it still shows the full field because the 190,000 have been cast, and that prevents Rubio from ever consolidating fast enough to be the last guy standing in the room against Trump, at least in Florida.
The fact that Kasich and Carson are still in the race actually helps Trump, doesn't it?
100%. And every day it's drip, drip, drip. It hurts Rubio. Cruz, I think he's no longer in cruise control. I think he's gone. There's a new national Rasmussen poll out that shows Trump now nationally, again, before Nevada, was at 36. His closest competitor, Rubio, was at 17. Rubio's flat since the last poll. Trump is up 5. He was at 31. He's at 36. And that, again, is before yesterday. It's a momentum thing. It's an inevitability thing. I don't see him stoppable. I think he's going to win a lot of the southern states and a lot of Super Tuesday. Marches into March 15th, which is Florida and a couple of other states. I think the Republican nomination is going to be over by March 15th.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. Now, what's the dilemma for the Democrats if it is Trump? The big play is going to have to be broad-based, no question about it. But apparently, Trump had a pretty good showing with Latino voters in Nevada. I don't know what that means.
I'm frankly baffled by it, but remember, we're talking about a thin slice of a thin slice. You're not only talking about only Republicans, but you're talking about Republican super voters. That's a smaller slice. Then you're talking about Hispanics within that Republican super voter. So I don't really think it's reflective, even though I am a little bit mildly surprised. Mm-hmm. But I think it's what you said. It's an advent of the tremendous, distaste for Washington. It's just that Democrats channel that and the rise of Bernie Sanders, and it channels more or less as frustration. On the Republican side, it channels as pure anger, thus allowing Trump to rise.
Break down the Democratic situation the way it is right now.
I think Hillary had a must-win in Nevada. Also, the fact it was almost just not quite about 6 points by the time they were all done counting. If she had won even by 1 or 2 points, a lot of concern would linger. I think it still does, but much, much less. She's way ahead in the polls for Super Tuesday, and certainly in Florida, she's ahead by very, very significant numbers. What that does is the win in Nevada allows her to then get to South Carolina, keep it going, especially with her minority support, which is very significant, and Jim Clyburn now coming out for and sitting in the front row at the debate at the town hall meeting last night by CNN. And I think she's able to go through. Will this go for a good while? Yes. But I think even though Bernie is outraising her online, which means it's worth even more because you have no overhead, I still think that because of that key win the other day, I think now she has shifted the momentum. And I think it's going to be difficult numbers-wise to catch up with it, regardless of all this talk of superdelegates.
But money's momentum. And I don't know. On Super Tuesday, okay, let's say Bernie wins Vermont, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and Colorado. Mm-hmm. What happens? And they feel very confident in Texas, I might add.
Well, it really, and we've talked about this before, irrespective of who the candidates are and on which side, it's arithmetic. And I think she keeps racking up, because of this win the other day. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said this.
Yeah.
She keeps racking up the numbers, and even if he does well, but still not well enough. Remember, it's only a two-person race.
Yeah.
It's not the same problem. So it's just arithmetic, irrespective of superdelegates, which, of course, are overwhelmingly on her side as we read.
Mitch Ceasar, we'll see you on the tube tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Chairman of the Broward County Democratic Party, former Florida Democratic Party Chairman Mitch Ceasar. He knows Florida like the back of his hand. Interesting insights. PillPack, Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSave team bring you Ed Schultz news and commentary. We're right back. Hey, folks, you've heard me talk about BioGreen Clean. I'm going to show you right now on my airplane just how tough this is. I want you to keep in mind, chemical-free, 100% plant-derived, biodegradable. It is the safest cleaner that you can get, and it's the most effective. Go to our website, wegoted.com, or go to biogreenclean.com. www.biogreenclean and order today. It's time to continue our conversation about mechanical insulation. Mechanical insulation is for the piping systems in our nation's commercial and industrial facilities. Facility owners are burning up billions of dollars through the lack of mechanical insulation on these piping systems. Call the iSave team. Insulation saves America valuable energy, and this team of energy conservation specialists is shovel-ready to save you money. Visit iSaveTeam.org to have a specialist give your plant an energy audit.
We perpetuate a culture of crime all the way from Wall Street right down to the main street in our hometowns. It's worse than it has been since FDR took control of the problem and said we can't count on industry taking care of the American labor. They probably have already engaged into some type of criminal cover-up, and the law prohibits the government from even doing anything about it.
Catch America's lawyer Mike Papantonio on YouTube at youtube.com/GoLeftTV.
Like us on Facebook, and thanks for all your comments. As I'm back on the tube now, we start our second month on RT America. RT America is, of course, out of Washington, D.C., where we bring this production to you from every day. We do it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's released, and just so we've kind of changed our time there. We used to be at noon, now it's at 3 o'clock, and it's released after that. Appreciate all your calls and comments, and like us on Facebook. And RT America, the news with Ed Schultz, is on at 8 o'clock Monday through Thursday, and I'll also be starting a long-form interview show, which will play on weekends on RT America. You can get it on Dish, you can get it on Direct, you can get it on RT.com and watch us live. It has one of the largest news websites in the world, and we're pretty excited about the way things are unfolding here in Washington, D.C., and I appreciate all your loyalty. Thanks for supporting our sponsors, PillPack, Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSave team. Tonight on the news, more from Flint, Michigan. The stories just keep rolling out. Alexei Yaroshevsky is going to be on the scene tonight in Flint with new developments in dealing with their water situation. Just one of the stories we're running tonight. Also, we'll have a recap of what unfolded in Nevada in the road forward, not only for the Republicans, but for the Democrats, and Mitch Ceasar will join us on the tube tonight as well. We're back tomorrow.